Good to see you again. Yeah, you're busy enjoying the view out.
It's a beautiful day today.
And I wasn't implying women because there was nobody. Well, there was a young lady just now, but it's the weather today.
Exactly.
It's the weather and that's a sign we're getting old, Jim.
Oh yeah.
Is when we look out the window and we look over the heads of the pretty women and we just admire the sunshine and go.
Exactly.
So maybe that explains the other thing I said off the air. Once upon a time, on a good day like this, we wouldn't even think twice about getting off of work 5 or 6 o'clock in the evening and driving to Daytona.
Right.
But maybe now, see, it used to be the women that I think brought us there, don't you think?
Yeah, now it's the gas prices.
They keep us away.
That keeps us away.
Gas prices that keep us away, yeah. Do you have a gasoline car or a diesel car?
I have a gas.
$4 a gallon for diesel right now.
And that's up.
Yeah, at least when I saw this morning. So how's everything in your world?
Everything's good.
You've got to go up to Old Town?
I do have to go up to Old Town when I leave you. That's a drive. It's an hour and a half north.
And what do you have to do there?
A supermarket, hometown supermarket, it's called, needs to have their phone lines fixed.
Oh.
So I got to drive up there, and they said they either have to bring somebody out of Tallahassee, which is an hour and a half down, or bring me an hour and a half up. So,
So let's talk about that for a second. So the phone line rather is an internet phone line?
No, it's just a normal POTS line. POTS stands for plain old telephone service.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah, that's like we say POTS line. It's plain old telephone, and but they have some lines they want to add, and so they want me to run new wire for them. So it's not a big job. Like I said, it's about 30 minutes once I get there, but I've got to get there. Like yesterday, I had to go to Gainesville. Took me roughly an hour to get there with the traffic and all, and did like a 30-minute job and turned around and left, came back. I said, you can't find anybody in Gainesville? I said, no.
So do you offer telephone service here in Ocala?
I do.
Now, what do you offer differently than... I don't even use a phone service in my house. But I have my cell phone. That's all I really need anymore. I can't even imagine needing a landline anymore.
Well, it's similar to the Magic Jack. It's called an ATA, an analog telephone adapter. And what you do is, if you have internet, you plug the ATA into your internet, and then we activate that box to give you either one line or two lines. And then you have unlimited phone service anywhere in North America, incoming or going out, either way. And as long as your internet works, your phone works.
You can't call Europe?
You could call Europe, but it's not part of the package.
Oh, I see.
We're trying to keep the a la carte thing going everywhere, which means if you wanted to call India, we could actually give you a local India number, which means that when your family in India were to call a local number, it'll ring here in Florida.
If you could understand them, that's the only problem.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, no offense, man.
But you get your computer fixed faster.
It's a joke.
Because you're always calling international.
I have met many lovely Indians, and I don't mean anything by that. But sometimes I do have a hard time understanding them.
Exactly. Yeah.
I do. They don't.
Yeah.
But I do.
But anyway, so it's the telephone service is one of the things we offer. We offer high-speed internet in the areas that we serve. Normally, we like to work with Arnie from the city of Ocala. You remember he came in here.
Right.
And they will hook you up fiber to your home and give you high-speed internet faster than Cox or anybody.
But I remember from that conversation that they're not exactly marketing that idea. It's something it's almost like a secret.
It is a secret. The way the county commissioners tie their hands is they cannot market against CenturyLink for telephone or market against Cox or Comcast because they are not in the business of competing. They are just in the business of supplying.
Oh, really?
So
are you violating something by talking about them on your show?
No, that's why we had Arnie come in here. You know, he said basically that if you call me, I will hook you up. But I will not ever send a flyer out. I will never do a telemarketing. I will never do anything because they don't want to compete with the local incumbents that are already here.
And I should know this, but we do that here at the station, don't we?
Yes, you have Ocala Electric Utilities fiber optic network right in.
And that would be pretty awesome because then you could get everything in one bill.
Exactly.
So wait a minute. Could I do that? I have right now Ocala Electric Utilities for my electricity.
Yes.
I have Cox for my internet. I don't have TV at all.
Right.
And I pay what, $60
Yes.
a month, I think, for my internet. So I would save money if I called the city and said I want my internet through you.
You may save through the city. The city would hook you up, of course.
I'm willing to pay for it, but if it's cheaper, I'll do it that way.
I don't know if it's cheaper or not. I just know it's faster because it's
okay.
fiber to your home.
Okay.
So you'll get more speed than you know what to do with. You could download a huge file in seconds.
Oh, I would know what to
Wow.
do with it. No, because I upload videos. And
Right.
like last week, 2 weeks ago, we uploaded the Ocala's Got Talent video.
Yes.
We did it for the
we did.
station, but I did it from home.
Right.
Yeah.
It took forever because it was almost an hour long. And
Yeah.
the video was almost
Now,
an
this
hour.
would have taken you maybe 2 minutes.
Wow.
Maybe 2 minutes. Maybe 1 minute.
Larry's making a call today.
That's not a bad idea.
Because what it is, it's they give you a 60 meg by 60 meg circuit, and then they put only like 10 people on that circuit. So at any one time, if everybody was on, then everybody would have a 10 by 10, which is super fast. So you not only can receive 10 megabits, but you can send 10 megabits. But in your case, where you're up early in the morning and such, you'd have the whole 60 meg to yourself. There's nobody using it.
Probably not. Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
So what do they physically do? Do they bring something physical to the house, or do they use already existing wires? What do they use?
They bring a fiber to your home.
They have to bury it in the ground or something? How do they do that?
It comes on the power poles.
Oh, really?
And we have to be careful not to call them telephone poles. The telephone
Oh.
company does not own them. The power company owns them.
By the way, there was a competition over there at the Sportsplex.
Yes.
And they were climbing. The utility guys were climbing these poles
Yes.
in competition. Were you there?
No, I wasn't.
Did you
but
hear about it?
That'd be very interesting to see.
Yeah, last Friday and Saturday.
Robin's husband told us about it. He went over there and saw all the poles up there, right?
Yeah, and then he went back and saw the guys. So
In the rain. They were
Fascinating.
doing the
Yeah.
competition in the rain.
Yeah.
yeah.
Wow.
They got to climb poles in the rain. They have no choice. The
I wonder-
work must go on.
There was a story of a goat, a ram or whatever, and it got its horn caught on a power line, and up in the mountains or something like that. I don't know how it happened. I mean, the lines must get close to the ground at some point.
don't know.
Anyway, so that it was hanging by its horn, and then like sliding down. I don't know how it got past the first pole, or maybe that pole was really far away from the other pole. I don't know. But the people got up on their ladders or whatever, and they got this goat down off the wire.
Well, that's a YouTube video right there.
I'm sure it is. I'm sure it's on YouTube somewhere.
Another YouTube video is the guy that was naked impersonating a police officer. That was interesting.
That was interesting. What the heck was that?
Man.
How did he get? Yeah, I'm with you. I don't understand how he got in trouble for impersonating an officer.
Yeah, I've heard of body piercing, but where do you put his badge?
That's right. That's right.
That was good.
Oh man,
That was good.
that was terrible.
Or maybe they asked him, is that a weapon, or are you just happy to see me? He said, it's a weapon.
When you go and do things like this, and you install your fiber optics and things like that, do you have to actually pull permits from the county or the city that you're working in?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like if we do a private development, like Ocala Palms is a private development, well then we already have permission from the owners. But what the owners have to do is go down to the county, if they're in the county, and file easement rights, giving
Oh.
us permission to be in those easements. Because if they ever sell the system or sell the property, we still have to have permission to be there. So we have to have what's called a dedicated easement just for us. Same as the power company has one just for them, and the telephone company has one just for them.
Jim George is in our studio, and I want to make sure that the listeners know that you are invited to call Jim right now. If you want to be part of the conversation or simply ask a question, the number is 622-9622. That is the WOCA Climate Control Source Hotline, 622-WOCA. So my question now is going to put you into the teacher mode. I'm going to ask you to teach me something verbally. If I had wires, I'm not even good at soldering, really, but at least I'd have an understanding of how to connect one wire to another. How do you connect coax, and how do you connect fiber? Fiber seems even more mysterious to me.
Fiber is very small, as you can possibly imagine. It's like, thinner than than the hair.
Yeah.
But it comes jacketed, so you can see it and feel it and touch it, and And then as you start taking the jacket off by stripping it off with a pair of cutters, let's say, and stripping it, you get right down to the bare fiber. And then when you get to the bare fiber, they have a thing called a cleaver, and what the cleaver does, it breaks the fiber. You can't really cut fiber. But if you have a cleaver, it's two pieces of metal that would come so close together that it's like a knife cutting it, but it's just two pieces of metal passing each other.
And that's not considered cutting it?
It's called cleaving because it breaks the fiber at an angle.
Oh, okay.
In a special angle, let's say.
Okay.
And then all you do is slide that fiber into a mechanical connector or fusion splice it to a connector. And the fusion splicer is like a $8,000 to $15,000 device.
Oh, wow.
That takes two fibers in, like if your fiber got cut, takes two fibers, one coming, one going,
right,
and puts them and aligns them. So if I may use my fingers on the radio, that's not aligned, but as it aligns them,
okay,
and then fuses them,
like rotates,
and then the loss of that connector is zero. There is no loss. In other words, a perfect splice is no loss. And so, but it'll tolerate like 0.025 loss.
I wonder how anybody figured out that you could do this with light. I wonder how that ever was discovered. That's an amazing thing, really.
And the coax is much more easier. That you can buy a little stripper, even Radio Shack sells them, and you clip it onto the cable and you spin it. And when you spin it and pull it off, it purposely cuts the jacket, cuts everything into steps, and then the connector just slides over the staircase of these steps and connectorizes. And then you crimp it, and you're done.
Okay, but you don't need the $8,000 piece of equipment like you do for fiber.
No, you need like a $6 little spinner, and a crimper, which might cost you $50. And you're in the business. Now you can go splice all day long.
So the fiber that comes from the city, if it came to my house, would come to the house, and then from the box it's connected to is actually coax?
It'd actually be coax, or in this case, since you're getting high-speed internet, it would be Cat 5. It'd be
What is that?
Cat 5 is your data cable.
Okay.
You ever plug in your little data jack?
I never dated a Jack, no. I dated a Jill, but...
Yeah, well, there you go.
What now?
Impersonating a policeman all over again.
Have I ever... What did you ask me? I didn't even understand the question.
All right, well, Cat 5 and Cat 6 cable is...
I don't think I've ever done it.
Is data cable.
Okay.
So it's 4-pair wire, but it plugs into your router. So if you have a router in your house, like a wireless router, that little jumper cable, that little patch cable is Cat 5 or Cat 6. They upgrade them all the time.
Does it look like coax?
No, it is round, but it's smaller.
Huh.
So make a long story short, he would bring you in fiber, put it to a box, and this box would be a network interface device, a NID, and out of that would come your internet. Then you can take that and put it to a wireless device because you already have one in your home, and nothing would change. You just have higher speeds of internet.
Wow.
Well, and even if the price is the same, it sounds like it would still be better.
It is much better. During the hurricane, the two outages that we had power-wise throughout the city, with telephone poles, there again, I'm calling, with the power poles down, the fiber network never was down. The fiber network is made of Teflon and with its jacket, and it actually held up that portion of the power pole, even though the power line snapped.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah. Is when a person sees all those big wooden spools with the cable wrapped around it, is that a part of it also, or does that cable go to something else?
No, it's probably part of the fiber optic. There's like 25,000 to 30,000 feet of cable, fiber on one spool.
Oh.
But that's very small, that's why. But the larger the diameter of the cable, then the less that will fit on a spool.
Mm-hmm.
So the way you just illustrated the strength of that fiber, it reminds me of watching a fisherman trying to pull in a shark with that little tiny line, that fishing line. It's always amazing to me that they could pull in. What was it, a Was it a 4,000? It was a 14-foot shark.
Yeah.
I can't remember how many pounds it was. And the guy, I was watching this on news the other day, and the huge hammerhead shark.
Yeah.
And he's pulling it in, and it's the same fishing line. Look, well,
Yeah.
probably not the same, but it looks the same as what I would use if I was just going to Cedar Key to just have
Right.
fun, right?
Yeah.
We do have a phone call. Let's go to the phone. Good morning. You're on the air with Jim George.
Good morning. Okay, I'm trying to get this straight in my mind because I do use cable, and it's as fast as anything I've ever used before. And I don't have TV because I can watch everything I want through the internet. So what you're saying is I need to call the utility company and get a price on this to find out what it would be to my place. And does it come with routers and modem boxes?
Yes and no. That is the NID device, which transfers fiber over to hardwire. Is the interface device. In other words, that would be your internet coming out of your NID. The way a cable company works is they have coax going into a modem, and then coming out of that is your internet. So it's just a device that would take the place of a modem. So they would run.
And what about a router for hooking up if you have more than one computer?
If you have one in your house now, is it supplied by the cable company or do you own it?
Actually, this one is supplied by the cable company.
Yeah, well, you can get those at Radio Shack, but I really prefer you to buy them like at Best Buy or Staples. They're like $59, and that's it. And then you would own your own devices in your home, and you would get the high-speed internet from the city of Ocala.
And then you talk about having to have the right of way in case you ever sold it. Is this something where you get a lot of people signed up and then it gets sold and the price goes up higher than cable?
No, I was speaking about a private development where if I'm going into a private development, let's say it was on top of the world, just to throw a name out there. If I was going in there, I have to have permission to be in there, so the developer would have to go down to the county and dedicate me a right-of-way. In other words, how can I get into that property? And the reason why he has to do that is because the next owner that comes in may say, no, I don't really want that guy to feed my... Well, so I have to have an easement. But for your own home or something like that, the city of Ocala owns all those easements. They're on the power poles. I keep saying telephone poles.
Yeah, right.
They're on
right.
the power poles.
All right. And then if, for instance, right now I use Skype. I have a cell phone, but Skype is my computer phone. So you're saying with an ATR box or something, I can have a regular telephone that connects to the internet?
Yes, it's an ATA, analog telephone adapter, and you could get those from any company that supplies telephone. Even WOCA here does several advertisements for people who offer telephone service. And of course, we offer telephone service. And you put that box in your home, and it comes with up to 2 telephone lines. So you could have one as a dedicated fax line, or you could have one as just a telephone line. But that would give you unlimited calling anywhere in North America. Then if you wanted an international package, like calling, let's say Europe might be 1 cent a minute. Calling India might be 2 cents a minute. So it's things,
right.
And so, but with Skype, you don't pay anything for minutes, as you know.
Yeah, I mean, if you do international, I mean, computer to computer is totally free, but if you have your own phone number and voicemail and you can call anybody else's telephone, it's totally free. And it's about $65 a year.
Right.
For that. So with yours, is that an additional monthly fee?
Yes, if you had an analog telephone adapter, you would pay something like $24.95 a month for the telephone. But like I said, that would give you a hard line in your home. The reason why you'd want a hard line is, number one, you could do voicemail. You don't have to keep your computer on, in other words. And if someone were to call you, a machine could answer and say, hey, you've reached the residency of so-and-so and so-and-so. Please leave a message if you weren't there. Plus,
I have that on Skype. I can shut down all my computers and someone can still call and leave a message. When I turn them on, I get the message that way.
There you go. And then also what it does, it allows you to have, like if you have an alarm system and you're using the phone as your, to contact the central station, the ATA will allow you to do that, whereas Skype would not allow you to do that.
Okay. Yeah, interesting. Okay.
All right.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
It'll be interesting to hear the results of folks calling and looking into this to see. Well, I want to look into it too. I mean, I'm going to see if it's cheaper, but again, if it's faster, it really, like you say, most people don't need it faster, and you're probably right. Most people don't. But we do a
videos.
lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Where we upload it from home. Some of the videos we do here, we actually have to finalize at home simply because we just don't have enough time here.
Right.
Yeah.
And it would be nice to be able to just get it up there real quickly.
Well, from time to time, I'll hear you say we're having problems with our computer system or we're having problems with our internet. It's not the internet you're having problems with. Like I said, you're getting your service from OEU, Ocala Electric Utilities. That's always up. That never goes down.
Oh, really?
What you're having is maybe an in-between device, either here in the studio or where you're trying to go to. But the internet connection is it's fabulous. I mean, we have a 1.5 gig network into our building. That's 1.5 gig in and 1.5 gig out.
Wow.
That's like an $18,000 a month bill,
Gosh.
and and that's never down, and it's always more than
Wow.
one. And although we're buying
$18,000 a month.
yeah, and although we're only paying, let's say, for 1.5 gig, we sometimes go to 10 gig. We can burst as high as we want to.
Wow.
So in your case, if you were to go to the city of Ocala and have them measure internet, they may only guarantee you, let's say, 10 meg up and 10 meg down. But at any one time, you can do 60, 80, 100 meg.
The fascination with this topic, by the way, has taken us almost all the way through your show. So obviously, this is a topic not only are we interested in, but based on the caller, we're not the only ones. So
Right.
the number to call would be the city, like 629 City is the city's phone number. I know that by heart. 'Cause
Okay.
that's-
Yeah. So that would be
629 City. It's a pretty cool number, isn't it?
Yeah, and when you call, just ask to be transferred to the utility part of the company that deals with internet. And that would give you Arnie's, and he would come on, and he's on vacation starting today, leaving for Barbados.
Oh, nice.
He's in Barbados, and you're going to Old Town.
Yeah. He leaves today, I think, to go to Barbados. So I think he's driving down to Miami and then taking the cruise ship out of there and be gone like 2 weeks.
Oh, how wonderful.
But there's
So we have to wait for Arnie to come
No,
back.
there's Chris there. There's
Oh, okay,
Tom
okay,
there.
okay.
I'm just giving you different names, but what they do is they would first put in a work report to the city saying, do we have fiber in this area? And if we do, how long would it take to hook up this house? And then they would come back to you, say, based on how many poles we have to climb or whatever, it may take us 3 weeks to get to your house. And then if you say, yes, it's the same price, it makes no difference if it's 50 poles to get to your house or 1 pole to get to your house, and they have a flat fee per month. And no matter how much bandwidth you use, with cable's starting to regulate how much you can download. You reach 4 gig or you reach 10 gig, you're cut off.
What?
Yeah.
For the rest of the month?
That's because people are doing Netflix, so they're downloading all those movies.
Yeah.
So the cable company is starting to regulate that now. There was a law against it in Congress, but it didn't pass. So the cable companies can actually stop you from downloading any movies unless you agree to pay more.
Oh, because
The city doesn't do that. City is wide open, all you want.
Oh, man.
Wow.
Well, Arnie's going to be busy when he comes back from the Barbados. Yeah. Arnie's going to be busy.
They better give him a raise.
All right. So how do we get you? How do we call you? What's your number?
Certainly, 854-9795.
All right. And call us if you need that repeated. And you have a website, Joe? I always forget. Oh, yes. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, it's Americable. It's America with BLE on the end, so it spells americable.us.
All right. Thank you, Jim.
Thank you. Have a great day.
We've got to go to Fox News. We'll be back.
Fox News Radio, I'm Lillian Wu. Our economy added 192,000 jobs in March, while the unemployment rate stayed at 6.7%. Investigators, meanwhile, still trying